Hello.
All right. Hi, guys. Okay, so welcome to another live stream. Another live stream Python. Okay, no, this is not Python hour, but welcome to another live stream. And today we are going to be talking about um, how to boost your productivity, avoid burnout, and 10x your developer mindsets. And here with me is Ellie, a very good friend of mine, and today we're going to talk about touching grass, productivity,
Touching
and
grass.
everything around that. So, Ellie,
Yes.
please introduce yourself.
Hello. Oh, I see Richard is here. Hello, happy
Richard.
Saturday. Happy Catterday. I wish I had my cat so I can make a joke about it being Catterday. But yeah, I am Ellie. I'm a developer advocate at Pieces. I love doing martial arts and I have a board game from daily.dev behind me, so I thought that was pretty cool. Random fun fact. I won that, because you're friends with Francesco. I won that from
Yeah.
Francesco in a totally not rigged raffle. It was not rigged, but the game was fun. I still want to play that game on a live stream, like
Yeah.
set up a second camera or something, and I'm playing all the roles, but I'll throw the dice for you guys, or we have like a virtual dice or something. I feel like that would be fun, but we never did it, so we have to. I
Yes,
think it's
we
4 people,
we
maybe like
definitely
with
have
me,
to.
you, Richard, and Francesco.
Yeah. Because we talked about that, but it didn't happen anymore again.
I know. We need to do it. Maybe in a couple weeks we can do it. So I think it'll be fun. A summer activity.
Yeah. And Richard was right. I completely forgot that this is the first live stream on my YouTube channel where I will not talk about Python. So it will be less about code and more about just improving your mental health. And I forgot about that.
Yeah. You're opening and you're like, all right, we are gonna build some projects with Python, and I'm like, okay, Sophia, I'm on chapter 3 of learning Python, so please wait, please hold. In a couple weeks, maybe I will be good at Python, but not yet. So, anyways. But
All
I
right.
am excited to talk about all of the productivity slash burnout slash we before this stream we were talking about maintaining your sanity when
Yeah.
procrastinating. Yeah, so I think we have a lot to talk about here.
Yeah. Yeah. We have like a lot to talk about. So okay, I don't want to dive deep into it. So I would love to know how your learning Python has been going. Then from there we can slowly go back to productivity.
Okay. Learning Python, I am literally this class because it's literally intro to programming, so nothing much has happened at all. It's like very theoretical at this point. I mean, what's weird to me is they're having us use this code editor called Thawny. I think it's pronounced Thawny. Have you heard of that?
No,
Right, I
never.
was weird. Like, there's discussions in the class, and they're like, "Oh, what do you think about the code editor we're using?" And I was like, "I thought we would use VS Code, but here we are using Thawny." It's a IDE that is really good for beginners, like that have never coded before, because it's just very simple. Like, it's not scary. I feel like when you first open up VS Code, it's like, oh, there's so many buttons and so many settings, and you don't even know where your code went. If you click X, maybe it'll like disappear, and you're like, oh no, how do I open it? I remember when I first started using VS Code, I was like, how do I open this tab? Where is this
I mean,
setting?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
like
anyway,
the same thing. My experience with VS Code was very funny because I moved from coding on my phone to coding on a laptop, and I already got to used to using my phone. And that when I finally installed VS Code, it was confusing. Then the tutorial I was using back then, they were using uh PyCharm, and I switched to
mhm.
PyCharm, and it was more difficult than
Oh,
I anticipated. So I just had to go back to VS Code.
you were
But yeah,
like, bye.
like
That's
like
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 me when I
every
tried
time.
NeoVim. I literally I could not get it. Like, if anyone knows NeoVim that is watching, please let me know, because I sat there for many hours trying to figure out like what is going on here. And yep, I did not figure it out. I tried reading the docs and watching videos and stuff, but I don't understand how to use
I
Neovim. And I gave up. I was like,
never
why would
tried
somebody voluntarily
Neovim.
use this over VS Code? I do not know, but
I've never tried Neovim before, but I feel like when I do try it, I would let you know if it was difficult for me.
yeah, try it. It's yeah, I don't know. I love anything with like a graphical interface, like
Yeah,
GitHub desktop.
yeah.
I like that. I know a lot of people don't like it, but anything that I can see actually visually what's going on, I'm like that seems good to me.
All right.
So,
Okay. So let's head into the topic of today:
mhm.
burnout, productivity, and touching grass. So have you ever faced a burnout before?
Yeah, so I thought about this before the stream as well. I don't know. I feel like everybody experiences certain things differently, if that makes sense. So I don't really know
Yeah.
like if my experience I'm definitely not the I guess core source of knowledge on burnout because I don't know if my experiences are really what defines burnout, but I guess I've experienced it in a couple different ways at various times in my life.
Okay.
And it usually happens when I'm doing something for an extended period of time that I don't like to do. So, um, because anytime that I've done something like, every day, many, many hours a day for an extended period of time that I like to
Yeah.
do, I have not gotten burnt out. So I'm pretty on the train of like, if you're doing something for many, many hours a day and you're either bored or you don't like it or it's causing you like extreme amount of stress, then like, yeah, you're probably going to get burnt out. But for example, like if I were to go and do jujitsu for like 8 hours a day, I'd probably get injured. I'd probably get hurt, and it'd probably be bad. And yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I would be like under body stress. I would be very exhausted because that's like a lot of jujitsu. I don't even think, you know, professional people train that much jujitsu every day. But for
Yeah.
example, if I did go and do that, like I don't think I would feel the same burnout sensation that I've felt in the past when I'm doing something that actually is boring. So I would say like for me, the key to burnout is like continuously being forced to do boring stuff for an extended amount of time. And then also like we were talking about before the stream started, in addition to doing stuff that I don't want to do, having these deadlines and procrastinating and having that like continuous procrastination anxiety
Yeah.
going on. Yeah, those two things together will cause a lot of stress, and then also not having any kind of outlet, right? So like for example, if I'm doing something boring but I do have like other outlets, like I see my friends and I'm working out and I have like some sort of physical hobby that I'm doing and I'm going outside, then like I think the effects of being totally burnout can be avoided, or kind of decreased. Maybe like the level of burnout can be decreased and you can maybe recover
Okay.
from it even. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even remember exactly what the question was that you just asked me. How have I been burnt out?
Yeah.
But hopefully that
So
answers the question.
yes, so that did. So the question I asked was, have you ever experienced burnout? And
Okay.
so before the stream, we're talking about how anxiety can play a role in burnout.
Yes.
And I would love to know if the audience has ever experienced a scenario or a situation where they were anxious about getting a task done
Mhm.
and like meeting a deadline, and that anxiety sort of caused them to procrastinate and sort of burnout. But then I don't know if that is called burning out or procrastinating.
Yeah, I feel like that is like a part of burnout, right? Because you're doing something that you keep procrastinating about. So that means like
Yeah.
in some on some level, like maybe you don't want to do it. On some level. So
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's both of like you don't necessarily want to be doing this thing, and there's a deadline that you have not that you've like maybe push back, and it's like, okay, in 2 weeks I have to do that, but you're going to wait until like the day of or the day before, and then that anxiety exists throughout that entire 2 weeks. So like having your body under a constant state of stress because of a deadline is
Yeah,
just unhealthy. So you could avoid the second part. So there's two parts of this burnout equation, right? You could avoid that even if you don't want to do it. If you have enough like willpower and you get it done in the first 2 days, then at least
yeah,
you don't put your body under that stress for the, remainder of the 2 weeks. So I would say that like if you're able to kind of build up your willpower and discipline, then you could avoid burnout that way. But I feel like once you're already burnt out, a lot of the times like you don't know you're burnt out until you're already burnt out. Like
that's
it's
true.
too late. So it's kind of hard to say. Like once you're already burnt out, then it's really hard to maintain discipline in general.
Uh,
So, but I also
very
want to know, have you been burnt out before?
Yeah, so I have like a lot of times, and sometimes the burnout comes when okay. I mostly feel burnout when I'm working on a bug. When I'm working on a bug that has progressed for more than 48 hours, and no matter what I do or how I think or the approach I try, it's still there. So working on that particular thing every day for a week, for 2 weeks, because I just had a project that I was building that it took me 2 weeks to fix a particular bug. So working on that made me burn out because every time I think of touching my laptop, I am tired. I am pissed at myself because I couldn't figure that out and I'm drained. So I was avoiding my workspace in general. And when I wake up, I just leave my room so that I don't get close to my laptop. So yes, I have faced burnout a lot, and it's mostly coding related. And
Mhm.
another time that I know that I faced burnout was um when I was writing an article. So that was last year or so, and I was trying to write the article. Like I have the outline, I have the topic, I have everything, but I couldn't write the words down for some reason. And I, I really don't know, but I couldn't like write down the words. I knew the words obviously, and I tried
Uh-huh.
using the voice to text, but I just kept on saying rubbish. So yeah, that is another time where I know that I have faced burnout. And Oluwa Timilei says the same thing. This is my friend Hope, and I'm very sure that we have faced burnout together on so many occasions.
Yeah, I guess with the article writing, it would be similar to like if you were an author and then you get writer's block. I feel like
Yeah,
that's kind of the same thing. It's like a form of writer's block. I think once you get burnt out, then your creativity ends up also kind of decreasing, and just
yeah,
a lot of different aspects of your life get affected. Like once you're in this state of like, I literally am at 100% and I am, really tired and
yeah,
like, because burnout for me, like how I would define it is, I guess it's important, right, to define what we're even talking about here.
yeah.
Yeah, I would say that for me, it would be like a total lack of motivation to do the things that, I would normally enjoy doing. So, you know, once I'm to that point of tiredness and exhaustion from doing something that I don't enjoy, or that has like made me feel bored, or that I'm feeling like I'm forced to do, or I have procrastinated so much about deadlines that I've been in like a constant state of anxiety for an extended period of time. Like there's a lot of things that could cause burnout, but once all those things kind of stack up on each other and you're to the point where it's like, oh my God, I have no energy. And like the thought of doing like some kind of simple task makes me feel really bad. Like I remember one time I was really burnt out where I was at my parents' house, and then my mom like wanted me to do the dishes. And I don't know why. It's just, I think once you're to that point, it's just like you can't even handle like someone asking you to do something small. Like you
That's
can do
true.
it, but it's just very feels very bad. So I just think that once you're at that point, then obviously it's going to be so hard to be creative and so hard to even, go and do the things that you enjoy doing. Even those things probably are what's going to heal you in the end.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, like,
But yeah.
I genuinely think that we burn out. Like once you burn out in one aspect and you burn out while
Mhm.
working, it affects every single thing around you. Because even doing the simplest tasks like getting up from bed, it's now looks big for you, and then you struggle to just stand up and so I feel like burnout, once it affects of your life, it affects every other thing. And the best way to heal from a burnout is just to take some time off, just rest, go outside, touch grass, walk around, see
Right.
the trees.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that anytime that I have been burnt out or just, down in a state where it's just not healthy anymore, the thing that has cured it is literally just like stop. I feel like I just have to quit cold turkey. Like I can't, just stop looking at, any type of social media stuff, like
Yeah,
short form videos. Cause I feel like you think you're resting and you're just like, okay, I'm just so tired. Like I'm gonna watch some like short form videos or whatever, some TikToks. But that's really bad for you and your brain, especially if you're already anxious.
yeah,
The best thing that helps me is like literally just don't do that and then go outside. But every day, like I would have to do it for a couple weeks and then after a couple weeks of just avoiding those things that are causing me a lot of anxiety, but not avoiding them. So for example, like we were talking about before this call, is like if you had a deadline, like you need to write an article, it's due in 2 weeks, then yeah, you like maybe write that article, get it done, and like don't pick up another article right away and take
yeah.
some time. And but because you can't rest if you know that you have this article due in 2 weeks time, that you're going to be
Exactly.
anxious even while you're going and touching grass. So I feel like
That's very, very,
literally very minimal things need to be on your plate, if any, and then go and go outside, do things that you normally enjoy doing, even if you don't want to do them. You kind of have to force yourself. But I think one thing that helps is because you have no motivation at that time, right? Normally people will just be like totally demotivated. I think having an accountability buddy is helpful. Like if you have someone that is willing to
yeah,
kind of be like, hey, did you go out and touch grass today? I know we did
yeah,
the 30 days of touching grass. Richard did it. I think you
yeah.
also did some of it too. That was helpful, for improving our mental health. So yeah, I think
I mean,
accountability is
yes.
important.
Yes, you are right. Because I mean, if you have a friend or someone that, like, you have to let them know if you go out or not, it would make you feel responsible for your mental health. Like, you would want to do things because you don't want that friend of you to scold you or to ask why didn't you go out.
Right.
Stuff like that for me.
I feel like we
At
need
least
more
for me.
community accountability things. I see that Devon is in the chat and Richard is here as well. Um, I
Hi,
know. Hi, Devon.
Devon.
If Devon said that she's feeling the burnout now. Oh my goodness. If you want to talk about it, feel free to talk about it with us, because we definitely relate
Yeah.
to that. And Richard said 30 days of touching grass. Woohoo. Yes. If 30 days of touching grass is actually, I do think that it is kind of a cure for burnout. Like, if you are able to force yourself to get out of your house, it's only 30 days. So, at least, like, once you're on day 15, you're not like, I have 75 days to go. It's like, okay, only 15 days left. And just going outside for 15 minutes. And, like, what I did during that challenge is, like, I just went on a walk around my neighborhood and listened to, like, a podcast. So it was kind of like I would listen to a podcast that I enjoy listening to and just kind of walk around. And that really helped me. So yeah, maybe we need to do it again. Another 30 days of touching grass.
I
Netflix definitely does get you distracted.
I want to admit, yes, yes, like we definitely have to do it again. During that time, though, I did not do like the whole 30 days, but at
Mm-hmm.
least I did a week or a week plus. And it helps me because I don't go out every day. Like I barely leave my house to go out every day because I don't have the time. I don't have the energy, and to be honest, I'm very very lazy. So I don't go out every day. But on the weekends, I would go out. I would walk around. And during the 30 days of touching grass was when it was. So I got the chance to at least step out. Plus, I had a friend that saw a tweet and he came to my apartment to drag me out. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh my
So yes.
god. That's
And the
very
van,
helpful, right?
yes,
Having
yes, it
someone
is.
like physically that drags you out, it's like you need to get out now.
Yeah.
Turn off Netflix.
And the vans, she says that Netflix distracted her. Not going to lie, I do this a lot. Now, whenever I face burnout or I feel tired, I feel drained, I watch a movie. Well, okay, not really a movie, more like a show, because for some reason I just cannot watch a movie. I prefer a long, but I watch a show that distracts for 2 days, for 3 days. I try to just rest, watch a show, and unplug. And I notice that I do this a lot on weekends, like on Saturday and Sundays. I unplug, like I check Twitter less, I respond to WhatsApp messages less, I look at LinkedIn less, and I just unplug and watch a movie and just chill at home. So besides going out to touch grass, I think that watching a movie too can be a substitute to help fix burnout.
I relate to everything you just said. Like on the weekends, I ghost everybody. I'm like, bye, especially people like that are not in my, you know, immediate vicinity. Obviously, like I don't
Yeah,
ghost people that live near me and everything. But
yeah.
yeah, on the weekends, I'm like, peace out. And then I do end up like watching some series on Netflix or whatever. Recently, I'm watching The Vampire Diaries because I love that show. It's
I love
amazing.
that.
Vampire Diaries. But I will say there's a caveat to that. Yes, it feels good and it's like, oh, I'm gonna watch my show and relax. But I do notice like the weekends or times when I literally spend, the whole weekend just, watching a show. I feel like it doesn't actually make me feel better after. If that makes sense. Like maybe in the moment I'm like, yeah, I'm relaxing, but I think actually like going and doing something, like if I were to like go swimming or something and then maybe after that like eat lunch. So the morning is sort of like healthy activities and then in the afternoon like I watch my show or a movie or whatever. I feel like that would be like a more restful day than just like literally waking up and like watching something all day. I feel like your brain is not actually resting. I think they did some studies on that as well. Like when you're watching a show, you're not actually resting. It's not the same as like if you were to like lie in the pool and just like float there for 30 minutes or something. So, um, yeah, I would say that a good
Yeah.
kind of middle ground solution is the 30 days of touching grass. Like if you do just go out for like 30 minutes that day and then spend the rest of the time, watching shows and doing whatever you want, it feels much more restful than just watching the show. Because I feel like your brain, maybe it's a psychological thing, your brain is like, okay, I did something positive for myself today. I went outside and I got, vitamin D and I moved my body. Because moving your body increases, what is it, like your endorphins and serotonin and everything. So like psychologically,
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
really is good for you to do that. And you'll actually feel so much better and happier. Like your mood will actually improve. So even though there's like short-term satisfaction from watching a show all day, it actually is bad for your mental health to do that. And I think we all kind of know that. On the other hand, I do think it's okay, like every once in a while, like, hey, I am just going to completely potato, and and what is it? I don't know if that's the right word, but like just literally do nothing for 2 days.
Potato.
Couch potato. There's another word like saying as well. I'm gonna completely like go like vegetative state or something. I don't know. I could see that as well. But anyway, bottom line, it's fun to do that, but mixing in like some sort of like positive either activity or like going to see your friend in the morning and like having brunch with them is gonna be way more helpful for you mentally when you go back to work on Monday than just binge watching all weekend.
So yeah. All I'm hearing is I have to watch less movie and go out more.
Yes. But well, I think movies are good too. I think it's a balance thing. Like if you really enjoy watching movies, then it's all good. Devon said she's watching The 100 on Netflix.
I love that show.
That is a good show.
I love that. That's a really, really, really good
but
show.
I have a really bad habit when I watch shows. If I have a feeling like the two characters that I want to be together are not going to be together, like I'm going to look it up and be like, are these two going to get together at the end? And for that show, I don't want to spoil. No spoilers here, but there's two characters that I wanted to get together and they don't get together, and
I feel as if I know.
So I stopped watching.
I feel as if I know the characters that you're talking about, but no spoiler.
Don't say them. We can talk about it privately after this.
Yes.
I don't really want to come on. But yeah.
I mean, I do that a lot. Like, okay, so I'm currently watching Person of.
Wait, what show is it? I didn't hear you.
The person, sorry, not the person of
Person of interest. Okay, let me see.
Yeah.
And no, Devon, I didn't watch all the seasons. I only watched the first season, and I was like getting sus that my love interests would not be together.
Actually, seasons, like from the very first to the last, season 1 to season 3, because I feel like after season 3 get all the pairing after that. But yeah, so I'm currently watching The Person of Interest. I'm currently on the last season, and I had to look up if the characters I really wanted them to pair them. But so that I dropped the movie.
Wait, I didn't hear you just now.
Then I came back.
Did you say they don't get together and you dropped it?
They got together, but it didn't last. It was like for just a couple of hours, and then one of them died.
They died?
One died.
That's the worst. That's the worst.
Really the worst.
There is another show. Have you seen the show The Manifest or Manifest?
The one that had to do with an airplane going off the radar. I saw it at some point. I can't remember if I finished an entire season, but I know that I did see it.
Oh, well, I didn't finish the last. I have also this really terrible habit that everyone hates hearing about. I will watch a show like all the seasons except for like the last 6 episodes. I don't know why. I just don't want to see the end. I think like psychologically, I have no idea what's going on, but I'm like, maybe I just don't want it to be over. So I just don't finish, and I just have no desire to watch it anymore. Anyway, that's what happened with Manifest. There's like a couple episodes left, and I was thinking like the two people I want together are gonna maybe be together in the end, and they just keep not getting together. I'm like, I'm running out of episodes here. And yeah, I never looked it up though. For that one, I'm like, maybe I need to watch it because there's only a couple episodes left. So I don't know if they get together or not. But yeah, Devon, that show is crazy. It is really good though. Highly recommend that show. It's wild. It's
Yeah, definitely
very
check it.
strange. But I will
I'll
watch
check it.
Person of Interest. It looks good. I love that actor, the guy with the glasses. That's
Ah,
yeah.
yes.
He plays like really creepy people in other shows.
I mean, I feel like as someone working in tech, you would definitely enjoy the movie, because it's like AI
Oh.
versus AI or the world versus AI. Really
That's
interesting.
cool. Yeah, then I'll look it up. I'll find it. It's on Netflix, I guess. That maybe that'll be my next
I
show because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
watching the Vampire Diaries, but I just feel like I'm on season 5. So, I have to finish Manifest Devon. Okay. I will. There's only a couple episodes left. I don't want to say it. No, well, I guess Devon, you've already watched all of it, right? I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but I really wanted Michaela to get together with a certain person, and she got married to like some boring guy. So I don't know. I'm like, man, that guy is so boring. Anyway, I feel like I always want the character to get with like the more not bad. In this case, he's really not a bad person, but like just a little bit more dramatic partner, right?
Yeah, yes. Okay. So I'm going to bring the conversation back
Okay,
to productivity in tech,
really good.
because if we're going to talk about movies and shows, we will talk about it all day. But let's go
I know
back.
we need to invite Devon up here to be like giving us manifest spoilers. Tell us about the show she's watching. Wait, oh, she's watching The 100 on Netflix. Are you watching any other shows? We need recommendations. All right, let's go back to the topic.
Okay, yeah. So okay. Uh a, a question that came up in my head before we started talking about
Mhm.
movies was, now, we talked about how anxiety can lead to procrastination and how procrastination can in turn lead to
Yes.
burnout. But then, do you think that there is a clear difference between being lazy to get the job done and burnout, that the person is not motivated enough to get the job done, or lacks or is not creative enough to get the job done?
So are you saying can you repeat the question one more time?
All right, okay.
Sorry. I'm like I
No,
got
no, no, it's
confused.
fine. Okay, so is there a clear difference between being
Right.
lazy and being, sorry, and burning
Okay.
out? Like, I mean, because it seems like it's the same thing, but then it's really not the same thing.
Mhm.
Because if we say that procrastination can lead to burnout, and we also say that anxiety could lead to procrastination, then, and some people do say that procrastination too can be another form of laziness. So is what's the difference between being lazy
Mhm.
and burnout?
Okay. So I would say that they're not the same because a lot of people, okay, this is just from observation. A lot of people that I've seen get burnt out are not lazy people. Like they are probably more hardworking than normal people because I think a lazy person wouldn't work themselves to the point of burnout. Like they would be like, why would I do that? In general, like how I would define somebody that's like genuinely a lazy person and they define themselves as lazy is like they will find, the easiest way to do things. And do the minimal basically. So if they're already doing the minimal, then they probably have some free time to, chill and be lazy. But somebody who is getting burnt out, like I feel like they're always trying to perform, at 100% and trying to get, everything done. And with the procrastination thing, I don't think necessarily like that has to be part of the burnout equation. I think you could be, working and whether you're studying or you're working or you're doing something else, but you're doing something, all day long, you might not have the procrastination be part of this equation. If it was just procrastination and you were just lazy, then I don't know if you would get burnt out. So, for example, if you were doing some classes or something, you're a student and your homework is due on Sunday night. I don't know when your homework is due. Anyway, imagine it's due Sunday night. Then
Yeah.
if you were to procrastinate all week and you didn't have a job or anything, then you would technically have like 5 days of doing nothing and then 2 days of hardcore doing your homework. And if you were to get your homework done and everything is fine, then you'd still have 5 days of doing nothing. So you would be anxious for 5 days. But I think there's a big difference between like somebody who's working all day, every day, like 7 days a week, 6 days a week, 5 days a week, and maybe you don't have the procrastination anxiety going on, but I think that would cause burnout a lot more easily than somebody who's being, lazy for 5 days and then doing it the last 2 days. And again, to also answer, I think this was part of the question. I don't really know if that's considered laziness. I think it's just learned behavior. It's like a sort of avoidant behavior that we develop. I think that there's a way that you can develop discipline and not procrastinate. But it's something that you have to train yourself to do. So there's this one thing that I recently read this book. Do you know David Goggins? I've brought him up a couple times recently just because I'm obsessed with this guy.
I do.
Okay, so he wrote this book called You Can't Hurt Me. He's a Navy SEAL, and he also like won the world record for most pull-ups in one day. And he's just like a really intense guy. Okay, so he wrote this book, You Can't Hurt Me. Highly recommend everybody read it. It's a really good book, and it's basically about like mental toughness and discipline. And one of the sort of challenges he gives you in the book, he says that every day you should do something uncomfortable, and that could be something small. So if you're in a total depressive state and you just literally can't even get out of bed, then like the uncomfortable thing might be like getting up and like brushing your teeth or something like that. But for somebody who is, already pretty fine and they're doing life and they're living their lives, but they want to increase their discipline, maybe that uncomfortable thing would be like a 5-minute cold shower or something, like just something uncomfortable. And you have to do it every day. But if it starts getting comfortable, which it probably will get comfortable after a while, then you need to do something more uncomfortable. And I actually like looked into this, and there's actually some like scientific literature on this topic. So when you do something uncomfortable, your brain, there's a part of your brain, I forgot what it's called, but it actually grows. So the size of it grows when every day you do uncomfortable things. So for people that never do anything uncomfortable and they're just like kind of typically a lazy person and they just do whatever they normally do, then that part of their brain is very small. So whenever a thing comes into their lives and it's something that is like shocking or not comfortable, like you don't want to deal with it, they're going to avoid it. That's like sort of a natural response because their brain is just not like capable of handling that essentially. But if there were someone that every day they consciously do uncomfortable things and they push themselves to, do those things every day, whether it's multiple uncomfortable things or one uncomfortable thing, then they're going to be able to handle that negative thing that comes into their life a lot better than somebody that doesn't. Do you know what I mean? So I would say that if somebody wanted to kind of maybe become less lazy and
Okay.
not have the whole, oh, I'm going to procrastinate for 5 days and get my homework done on the last day possible type of thing, then maybe, looking into some mental toughness things would be good. The book is called You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. So it's really good. Like I highly recommend it if anyone is trying to get, increase their mental toughness or build their discipline. Like if you read about his story, you're going to be like, oh my God, if he could do this, then, anybody can do this. Because he had a really bad life. So when I read it, I was like, okay, I really have no excuse for not doing these things that technically I want to be doing. It's hard to get in a habit. Like going to the gym, it's a habit that you have to maintain. And then eventually you're going to be so used to going and you're going to enjoy it and you're going to want to go. So it's kind of that type of scenario. I think, anyway, that was a very long response to the question. I don't
I
even
mean,
remember the question now.
you explain everything very well. So the question was the difference between being lazy and burning out or
Right. I
facing.
feel like lazy people maybe don't even burn out very often, honestly. Like,
Hmm,
I think that if you are lazy, which is fine, a lot of people are lazy, and some people sometimes you get in just like a lazy state, like you've just not been doing hard things for a long time, maybe because your
yeah.
life was so hard before that you've just like completely let yourself go into this potato zone, and that's okay. Everybody gets there, and gets into a lazy zone. I would say that if you're in this lazy zone where literally like I've had that happen before, like right out of high school, like I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. So I just sort of like went into this potato zone where I was like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I want to do with my life. And I just had too much time. I think sometimes like too much time is not a good thing. Um, but I would say that the state that comes with that is like depression. I would say that is more of a depressive state. That is, you
Yeah.
are depressed. You are depressed and you really need to get some help. And maybe some accountability. Try to scoop. I'm not a psychologist, but I think it would be much different than burnout. So burnout, you'd be like, that's because you're already doing too much, right? You're doing stuff all the time that you literally have no energy. Mentally, your brain is messed up, and your body might be tired as well, and the passion is getting very scarily low because of
Very
all the
true.
stress that you're under. So I would say that lazy people, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like they don't get burnout. I think that it's a different situation going on there. Yeah.
All right. One, well, I don't, but I know that doing so many things at once could cause
Yeah.
burnout. And I have been seeing a lot of tweets and a lot of posts for some time around how developer advocates or people working in DevRel, especially DevRel developer advocates, that they have to wear so many hats at once, they tend to face burnouts more than others. So I would love to know your experience if you've ever faced burnout in developer advocacy. How were you able to avoid the burnout? How were you able to overcome such burnouts?
Yeah. I think that I don't know, because I don't know if there's any data on that. Like, I don't know if they've gone and surveyed a bunch of different people in different careers and seen whether, certain careers experience higher rates of burnout or not. I'm not really positive about that. I have seen a lot of people that are, chronically online and they are posting, oh, I'm burnt out and I'm a developer or I'm a developer advocate. I don't know if I've seen it be more common among developer advocates versus normal developers. I don't know if they're I haven't I don't know if I've really noticed a trend, but I guess just speaking from my own experience, yeah, if you're a developer advocate and you're just doing so many different things at the same time, like I think that can contribute a lot of stress to yourself as a person, because maybe it depends on your personality, but when you have that many things going on at the same time, then it's just very hard to, get in the zone of one thing and feel like you're doing that specific thing really well, if that makes sense. At least that's how I feel. Like I want to do something really well when I do it. And if I'm doing that many things at once, I'm stressed because I know that I personally feel like I'm not doing everything at 100%, because that's like when I do stuff, that's how I do it. Like I don't understand those people that like go to the gym and they don't go like balls to the walls. Oh, excuse my language, I don't know if that's a bad term. Anyway, I don't understand that. Like I will, if I'm doing something, like unless I'm actually sick, like something is wrong with me, I'm gonna go 100% if it's something that I enjoy doing. If it's something that I don't enjoy doing, I will give like 10%. I will not even try because I don't want to do something that I don't want to do, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that the amount of hats that you're wearing, like you said, can definitely contribute to burnout, just because it's a lot of stress for a lot of people. Um, to juggle that many things. I don't know if it's a natural thing to do, honestly. But I think for some people it gives them variety. So I would say on the other side of the coin, if somebody who really enjoys variety, like they want to be doing a bunch of things at the same time, and then they had to go and like um work at a bookstore and like shelf books all day, like they organize books by alphabetically or whatever, like maybe they would get really burnt out really quick doing that because they would
Very
find it
true.
really boring, right? I think boredom can cause burnout as well, like you
Yeah.
forcing yourself to do something boring. So for the right person, I don't think that it would cause burnout, but it really depends on the situation you're in, right? If you're in, I guess, like in a supportive company or supportive environment, then you're going to feel a lot better and maybe can avoid burnout a little bit easier than if you were, you know, under constant stress and people kind of telling you like, oh, you need to do this and you need to do more and stuff like that. So yeah, but I do think the cure for that is touching grass. Or if it's really bad, honestly, though, okay, if somebody's really burnt out to the point where like they cannot even function, things are bad, things are getting bad, and like their mental health and their physical health is declining, and maybe sometimes a vacation is enough. I've heard that people like they take 2 weeks off, they go on vacation, and they feel a lot better. Um, so sometimes that helps, and also I guess like communicating this with your manager helps. But yeah, sometimes you just need to, I guess, like leave or find a job that is like more in alignment with what you need.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Yeah.
if you are in, or if whoever is facing the burnout is in a constant state of every week the burnout, or every 2 weeks the burnout because of the workload, I think that that is not really a healthy thing. Because I mean,
Yeah.
if you keep doing that, I get they are paying you, and the pay may be good, it may not be good, but then your mental health would always be at risk, and you would not be given the company or given your job 100%, which will also affect the creativity of whatever you are doing. So
Right.
if you are an artist and you have to paint a few ca- canvas or a
Hmm.
few projects, and you burn out every week or every 2 weeks, at some point you will start seeing the decline in your productivity. So just try to avoid burnout. And in as much as, or if you are in a state where you have to wear so many hats, there's something that Danny Passos once told me, was that try to say no, because I mean, the sooner you learn how to say no, the less you would avoid burnouts. Because I
True.
mean, yeah, if you say no at the right time, you get to avoid burnout, because you obviously can't do everything at the same time. You are a human and you have your limits. So when you know your limit and you try not to push yourself over your limit, I think that you would really, really, really avoid burnout in your career.
Yeah, I do think that is an important thing, just saying no. That's something like I need to learn. I feel like I'm a very yes person. It's just like somebody asks me for help, I'm like, yes. Like even in like Twitter DMs, like somebody's like, hey, can you look at my, project? I'm like, yeah, I don't know you, but yeah, I'll look at it. Like, I don't know. I understand at a certain point, like you just don't have time if you're like really famous or something and people are DMing you. But if it's a normal person DMing me, then the majority of the time, like, I'm gonna be like, yes, we can do that. Or like if they want to have a coffee chat and they don't seem like a total crazy person, then you know, I'm talking about crazy person. I can be crazy sometimes. I'm talking about like crazy weird person. Okay. And then I'll probably be like, yes, like let's do it. So definitely. I like, as you can see, when I did the
I
coffee
mean,
chat thing, I was like, let's just go. Let's do all the coffee chats.
yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's a personality
I
trait
mean,
too.
you do need to learn how to. You do need to learn how to say no.
I
Start
will I will
today.
start soon and try. Start today. Right. Um yeah,
Yeah.
but I do think that is a really good thing. I see we have a message, but I can't even see what it is. Oh, 100. Oh. The emojis don't pop up on the little chat thing that I see here, but yeah, I agree with Richard.
No,
It all comes
it
down to touching
does. I
grass.
think. I mean, yes. Okay, so there's this study I read, or
Mhm.
or an article I read, that when you are so stressed in a workspace, or uh okay, wow, there was spam.
Richard got warned by the moderators. Terminated. Stop spamming. Warning. It's
So
okay, Richard. You're not spamming. You can keep spamming.
when yeah, so I feel like when someone is stressed, especially in a remote work environment, because I know that I do get stressed a lot, because I work remotely. I've been working remotely for a while now, and I do get stressed a lot. And whenever I go outside, like I get to smell the fresh air, something outside of my house. I get to smell the trees, or hear the birds or something. It's 100% increase uh the happy chemicals in my head. I don't know what that is called. So it increases that and improves that, and that's why at the end of the day it all comes down to touching grass.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. I mean, but there's a lot of things you can do as well. I think that touching grass is a good starting point, though. Like, if you're feeling bad, no matter what kind of feeling you're depressed, or you're burnout, I think that going outside is the first step, right? Because you're going to get in a slightly better state mentally. And maybe you can start thinking a little bit more clearly about your life. You know how they say when you have a bug and you're dealing with a bug and you're trying to solve it, like
Yeah.
sometimes you could sit there in front of the screen for literally the whole day and not solve it. But like you go outside for a couple minutes and just take a walk, and then like suddenly you come back inside. Like maybe you didn't solve it out there, but you come back inside and like suddenly it's like, oh, actually, I figured it out. So I think that there's some kind of subconscious thing that goes on. And also, speaking of subconscious things, I just read about this last night. I'm reading this book called Outlive by Peter Attia. It's a really good book, by the way, if you're into like health stuff. But basically, sleep is really important because a lot of the stuff that goes on throughout the day, maybe you're really stressed and you're working a lot, or you're studying and you're at school and you have like all these exams and you're trying to remember all this information. So a lot of information is going into your mind, and maybe you're having some bad experiences as well, or maybe some good ones. Sleep is really important because when you're sleeping, your brain is sort of processing these memories, I guess, in REM sleep and interpreting them. So your brain is kind of, that's what the dreams, I guess, are like, interpreting these memories in symbols and everything. And so it sort of like psychologically processes what you've been through that day. And you wake up, and almost always when you wake up, you feel slightly better than when you went to sleep. And what they found is that sleep is really important because, for example, like war veterans, they have PTSD sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And they found that people with PTSD, or these war veterans that they did a study on, had way less REM sleep than the normal person. So when they were sleeping, they weren't able to like process this crazy stuff that happened to them. So, and then they woke up and they were still feeling, awful and still had a lot of PTSD and everything. I'm not saying like sleep can cure PTSD, but there's definitely a lot of processing that goes on. And apparently, long-term sleep deprivation can make things much worse, like really bad. And if you're not able to, sleep and have that time to process, then you're probably not going to be able to think clearly about, what you're doing at school or what you're learning about, right? Like you're not going to be able to really digest that information as good as somebody who's getting a good amount of sleep. So yeah, it is crazy. Highly recommend that book. It's called Outlive by Peter Attia. It's like in the very end, he talks about sleep. I'm planning on also reading this book soon called Why We Sleep. So I'm
Why be
getting into
sleep?
my sleep maxing life. Yeah, it's
Sorry,
called
you said the name of the book is Why Be Sleep, like YBE, then sleep.
Why We Sleep. So
Oh,
that's the book that I just ordered. I'm gonna read that book next. But yeah, because I'm interested in it. I've always been, a fan of sleeping, but it really does. I had a period of time of like months where I was sleeping less, and I was so much more anxious during that time. And I'm sleeping more now than before, and there's a huge difference in my overall well-being and like ability to make good decisions and ability to like make healthy decisions on behalf of myself.
yeah.
So highly recommend sleeping. So touching grass and sleeping and
So sleep
exercising.
is underrated.
Yes.
Sleep is
I think
underrated.
these things cycle, that it's a flow, right? Like you need to start somewhere. If you start somewhere, I think a good place to start is like going on walks outside. And then hopefully that will transition in maybe to exercising. Like maybe you're going to be like, oh, maybe I should like exercise a little bit more. And then most people, when they start exercising and like going outside more, they're going to want to get better sleep so they could do those things with more energy. So it's sort of a healthy cycle that happens.
Oh, I see, I see, I see.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So now that we've already covered everything, well, not everything, but we've talked about burnout. We've talked about burnout. Let's talk about productivity. So, how can we improve our productivity, especially
Mhm.
working in a field like tech where there are new frameworks coming out? It's hard to keep up. There's AI everywhere.
Yes.
Everyone is trying to be ahead of the curve, or they're trying to follow trends. Because I mean, every single day, AI, tech is evolving. New things are coming out. So, how exactly can one improve their productivity while working in tech, or how do you achieve this?
I think there's two big things that you can do. So one, I guess just related back to what we were just talking about, I think it's very hard for somebody to be productive all day for 8 hours or 9 hours straight,
Yeah,
um, if they don't have like a healthy life and brain, right? If your brain is not doing very well and you're feeling bad, it's going to be really hard to get into the zone of productivity. Like, when you get in the zone and you're just flowing and everything is going well and you're like knocking things out off your to-do list,
yeah,
I think it's very hard to get into that state if you're not mentally doing well. So, you know, having some sort of good like schedule where you take breaks and you go outside for a few minutes, or maybe you like do some jumping jacks or something. Like taking breaks is really important throughout your day, and doing those breaks, outside or eating food that is not in front of your computer would be good, because I think letting your brain have like a little bit of a reset so you can go back, and then you're not like, debugging for 9 hours when you could have just like gone on a 10-minute walk and then suddenly you have the answer, right?
yeah,
So yeah, I think that is really important. And then also, like you said, there's a bunch of AI stuff, right? I would say that AI can make you way more productive. I'm a huge fan of AI. Probably my favorite thing is just using projects in ChatGPT. Like that's what I like to use. I have like a lot of special instructions in those projects and with like files, attachments, and everything. So, you know, using those projects, it depends what you're doing, I guess. I would say this is good for like writing stuff, so content and things like that. You can use that to just like generate a lot more content quicker than if you were to like sit down and write it yourself.
That's
Yeah,
true.
so using AI, like you'd have to find the AI tool that really works for you. I think there's a lot out there, so it really depends like on your use case, but definitely using AI was going to be making you more productive than not using it. So whatever AI tool it is that you like to use, then use it. And if it's not making you more productive, then just don't use it. Find a new one because there's probably one that you like to use and sort of is works well in your workflow. So I would say those two things
Yeah.
are really important. What do you think? What are your top two for staying productive?
Staying productive. Okay, so it depends on what I'm doing. But one technique that have always helped me is if I need to get a task done, like I need to write 40% of an article on Monday, and it's 11 a.m. on Monday, and I'm still not gotten into the
Hmm.
groove. What I try to do is I set a timer, or I set like an
Hmm.
alarm. Oh, sorry, not an alarm, a timer, where for 2 hours I would be focused on that particular thing. So I close out every other tab or try to keep my phone away from it so I don't just mistakenly stumble onto TikTok, because I mean I can just say let me just then. But yeah, so I try to focus on a particular task for a long time. So it can be 2 hours, it can be 3 hours, but I just try to do that. And when after I set the timer and I am handling the task, sorry, my webcam is doing a crazy autofocus right now. But when I'm doing the task, I break it down in bits. So I don't just try to do everything at once, because if I try to do everything at once, I get confused, I get tired, and I just dump everything and do it last minute, which would be a rush to work, and I will not give it my all. So after I've set my timer, I break down the tasks in bits. So I can say that for 1 hour or for 40 minutes, I would work on the introduction. For another 40 minutes, I would work on the conclusion or another part of the article. So when I break it down, I find that I get to work on it, and it sort of improves the way I think, it improves my productivity at that point. So that's another thing
That's
I
a
do.
really good
And
one.
then
Yeah, that is a really good one. That's like
yes,
Pomodoro technique. I didn't even think about it, but that does help
yes.
so much. I would say that's definitely on the top.
Okay. Because when I started this, I started doing it 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and that did not work for me. It didn't work for me at
Yeah.
all, because working on a particular task for 20 minutes seems too
Yeah, you
small.
need time to
So
get in the
I started,
flow of it.
yeah,
That makes sense.
exactly,
I did
exactly.
it reminds me there's
So
this
I
book called Deep Work. Have you heard of that?
deep work. I think I
Yeah,
have.
it's I haven't read it, but I think basically it just talks about like taking a limited amount of time. So you have a time period where it's like a couple hours and you just say like, okay, I'm doing this thing for that couple hours. And maybe it's in the morning, but you have to have like no distractions, like nothing around you, and you're just doing that thing. And then you can become like so much more productive. So I don't know if that's really what the book is about, but I think it is. So
Yeah, I mean that. Well, I have been doing that for a very long time, and that has really, really helped me.
I gotta try that.
So yes, I would definitely. Yeah, I would suggest that to anyone. If you ever find that getting a tax done, it's so tiring. Like you see it as it's so heavy for you to get through it. try to just lock in for 2 hours or 3 hours, or you can just do it for an hour, and then you break down the task into small bits within that limited time, and see what you would be able to achieve. And then I also notice that sometimes when I do this, I tend to go beyond that 2 hours, because when I find the zone and I'm in that zone, I'm just going, I'm writing or I'm coding, I I get to like finish the task even before the deadline. So that is a trick. Oh, and then another trick that I do is every time I have a task to do and there's a deadline, I create a deadline for myself
Oh,
too. So if I'm supposed to submit a project on Friday, and I started it on Sunday or Monday, my deadline would either be on a Wednesday or Thursday. That way, I can just try to start it and hopefully kick the procrastination. And then before the main deadline, the project is ready for submission. So that's another thing
that
I
is a
do.
good way. I think having those deadlines set by yourself and honoring them is definitely helpful. And I agree. I think once you decide, okay, I'm going to do this for, X amount of time, then you almost always end up going past that time. So, and then Devon said that she puts her phone in another room when she goes into a coding session. Definitely a good method, because Twitter and whatever it is you use. YouTube shorts for me are addicting. Uh,
It
yeah.
really is. It's really, really addictive. Like, I would say that I want to take a 20 minutes break and I open YouTube Shorts or I open TikTok and I've
Bad.
spent 2 hours watching a funny video. And the funniest thing is that you don't even know that you've spent that amount of time until you check your time or your wristwatch and you're like, oh wow, I've spent two
Yeah,
hours.
really bad. I try to do like YouTube short detoxes. I think that's important, like short form detoxes where I'm like, no short form. And I think it helps because then when I come back, I have like a little bit of more restraint when it comes to watching them. I'm like, okay, I've watched enough. Let's stop. But if I go on for too long, like months, where I'm just not restricting myself, it's really bad, really bad. I feel like it just spirals your whole life, and
Wow.
you're just like, oh my god, my brain is addicted.
I genuinely think that uh, going through a detox or having some sort of restriction on a particular thing is like a
Important.
superpower, because I have done a
Oh
TikTok
my gosh.
detox where for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, I did not open TikTok, and I thought that if I go back, that I would have some sort of restraint. I did not. I ended up spending 4 5 hours
No.
on TikTok.
Maybe you need to do like a full digital detox. I know that some people, they actually mark on their calendars like, okay, every couple weeks or like once a month they do a digital detox. And honestly, I never intentionally did one, but one time the power went out for like the whole day at my house, and my phone like just so happened to not have any. I had like 2% battery or something. So literally there was nothing to do. I was like, what am I supposed to do? It was like the weekend, and I'm just like, oh, and I didn't have a car either or anything. Like I'm literally like I live really in the middle of nowhere, kind of. So um anyway, I was just like, I guess I'll go on a walk and stuff, like do some yoga. But actually I remember that day very specifically. It was a couple years ago, and I don't normally remember like full days of my life unless like something specifically good happened, I guess, or bad. But I remember that day, and I remember thinking like I'd been so anxious in recent times. I don't know how long, maybe months. And then that day, suddenly it sort of like reset my brain. I felt a lot better. And I suddenly was like, oh, maybe I should do this creative thing. And like I was making like a to do list and like making notes and writing and stuff. And after that, I thought like, actually there is something to this digital detox thing. It makes you way more creative, and I think it gives you the time to really process everything that's going on in your life, because you
It
literally
does.
cannot get distracted. Like, you can't use technology, but you have to be very have a lot of restraint, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so I think I have tried this before, but it wasn't out of my share wheel, and I ended up just sleeping throughout that day. Uh, and usually when I get like when my Wi-Fi goes off, because for some reason my router has been tripping off lately. So whenever it trips off, I feel as if I don't know what
Right.
next to do. And I genuinely think that I should start doing more detox. Because once it goes off, I feel like, okay, so I don't have anything
Right,
to
you realize,
do.
like, literally your
Um
whole life is technology. In that moment, I was like, everything I
yes,
do is, like, related to technology, and that's pretty bad. I feel like we should do that. If Richard, are you still here? We should do a digital detox. Like, we'll plan it and find a day that works
wait,
for all of us, and we hold each other accountable. So the day before it, we'll like post
yeah,
on Twitter and we'll be like, tomorrow I'm doing a digital detox. Goodbye, Twitter.
exactly.
um, and then we
That
can do
would
a
be
live
fun.
stream the day after and tell each other what we did. But we need to have rules. Do cars count? Can I get in a car? I'll, okay, so
Yeah.
cars count.
I mean, it's not part of
Right.
being
I feel like
digital.
the rule is maybe like no screens, no like computer, no phone, but I'm gonna use the microwave. Like, I think microwaves are fine in my book of the definition here. We should create a plan. Richard, can you make a list? Okay, car okay, microwave okay, refrigerator okay, air conditioning okay.
Yeah, yes.
I want to use my electronic toothbrush. And I have a water flosser. And the shower.
I I genuinely think that this will be very,
We
very
should, but
difficult
we should
for
do
me.
it. Okay, well, we should do it. What I was just thinking when you were telling everybody like how to stay productive with the time blocking, I was thinking like we could actually turn that little part of our stream into a blog post and like take quotes
Yeah.
from it. Like I'm gonna do that literally. I'm gonna write it down. Ready? Turn turn Sophia productivity tips into blog post. I'm gonna go back once this is over, take the transcript from, and I'm gonna like copy and paste, and I'm gonna just turn it into a blog post. Maybe not today, but that's on my to-do list.
All right.
And we need to do a digital detox. So we need to decide the rules. So I guess the main rule would just be no
I,
screens, except for like, okay, imagine you're in the supermarket and there's like a TV. That doesn't count because that's outside of your control, right? But within your
yeah.
control, no like gaming, no screens, and no phone stuff.
I I still think that this would be very, very difficult for
Yeah, I
me.
guess the hard part would be like
It
if
would
somebody
be,
texted you, um maybe
no, I feel like it will be difficult for me because if I say I want to spend the whole day reading, I would still need to connect to the internet to simplify things that I've read. So it would be difficult for me too. And then if I say no screen and I turn off my phone, then it means that no one would be able to reach out
okay,
to
maybe
me.
there can be an
So
exception. You can have your phone on, and like if somebody texts you like your mom or something, you can respond to your mom, but you can't open any apps besides okay,
yeah.
yeah, so no apps except for like the messenger app, but you can't sit there and like text Richard all day. Okay, that doesn't count. Like only like necessary communications. And I would say another exception would be like if you need to pay with your phone or something and you're at like the grocery store, some people like I guess pay with their phone, and like
Yeah.
at my gym I have to like open up the gym app and scan the QR to get into the gym. So I think that's okay, but come on, like we can no video YouTube stuff, nothing like that.
Yeah.
What okay,
Yeah.
we could even do like a 12-hour detox. Maybe that would be more manageable, like
Oh,
8
yeah.
a.m. to 8 p.m.,
Yes.
right? And then after that, we could binge our phones. But come on.
I feel like that would defeat the
Right. We need to do a
purpose,
full
but
day. We need to do a
that's
full
fine.
day. Um, who's down to this challenge? Who's down to join us? Richard, I think, is down. You're
Hi,
down.
Bob.
Bob, are you going to join our digital detox? Devon, are you joining the digital detox? We need to find a day that works for everybody, but I think we should do it. It'd be a good mental health experiment. And then
Oh, yes.
we could all jump on a call and then, you know, or just do a live stream like this and, everybody can write their experience and then we'll put it into a blog and be like, this is what happened. Digital detox experience results.
Yeah.
It's like our own mental health study slash research moment. Yes. We'll be
Yeah.
scientists. Oh, we could post it and be like, who's gonna join? We'll break Twitter for a whole day. Everybody's gonna be like, peace out, Twitter. No more Twitter.
Like you said,
Exactly.
like
We'll see who
I,
joins. I'm kind of down, honestly. We're gonna beat burnout with this.
I mean, I am. I'm down because I feel like this would help
Right.
someone else that's maybe struggling with productivity. I mean, because we are real people. We are. It's like a documented process that we would get to talk about after the detox.
Right.
So
Okay,
I'm down.
so day before we would post. And then the day after we would stream. And the day after, I think what would be cool is we post and ask for like people's what they did that day. Wouldn't that be cool? It's like, okay, we did a digital detox yesterday. For those who participated, what did you do? And how did you feel? And then we will collect this information and do a
Exactly.
blog post, and then everybody might be inspired to digital detox themselves. And then everybody will have good mental health. We're going to cure the mental health problem for developers. Yes.
That's what we aim
That'll be the
to do.
title. We have cured
Curing mental
developers'
health.
mental health difficulties, burnout, and more. Uh, uh, okay, I'm writing this down just so we don't forget. I'm serious about this, Sophia. We need to do more live streams because we're good
No,
brainstorming
I
some good
am.
stuff here.
See, this is why I love live streams,
Same.
because I mean we get to have amazing ideas on a live stream. I think it was still a live stream of Francesco, and me and you were in the comments that you guys inspired me to start a
Yes,
YouTube
that's
channel.
true.
So
I remember that.
live
See,
streams
they
are
have those live streams. Even if you're not in the live stream, like you're not on the video, sometimes, you know, because you can ask the people in the video or the people in the chat, other people for help about a certain thing, and you might get inspired to do something. I feel like the reaction time is faster and it's a little bit easier than just like on a Twitter post or something. Like imagine somebody posts something on Twitter. That's just like one sentence, right? But this is a whole conversation. So it's a little
yeah,
bit different in my opinion. So
yeah,
um
exactly. Because I still remember that day. So I was confused on what to focus on. because I had a bunch of ideas. You gave me a suggestion. Francesco gave me like the idea for my first playlist, which I
Oh,
did,
what was it? What was
and
your first playlist?
now I have a. Okay, so my first playlist was the basics
Right.
of Python, like a Python crash
I love
course.
that.
Yeah, because I was leaning towards Python and DevOps, and you said that since I already knew Python, I should go towards that. And Francesco said, I mean, that since I already know that, I should just go towards that and see how I can expand my knowledge within Python. And
Yeah, I
yeah.
think that is good. I'm glad that you got inspired that day because I think that that's kind of the best thing. Um, Whenever I'm doing any kind of like content, intentional content where it's like, okay, let's do a live stream or like a blog post, I hope that somebody gets inspired to actually do something. I think I was talking to Richard about this as well. When you go to a tech conference, I don't know if you've ever felt this, but for me, what defines a good talk, even if it's a really technical talk and they're like, all right, let's talk about, React, and we're talking about like building an app or whatever, um my main thing is like I want to feel inspired by this talk. Like I want to leave this talk and want to do something. So if it is a technical talk, like I want to be so inspired that I want to go study, React and build my own app, I guess. But or if it's, more of a soft skills talk, like I want to be so inspired that I go and do something. Like I remember after Taylor's talk, Taylor Desian, I think that's how you say it. He did a
Yeah.
talk about like LinkedIn and stuff at that conference. And obviously I don't remember all the details, but I do remember like after the talk, I was like more inspired to be active on LinkedIn because I was not like literally posting anything on LinkedIn. I just thought it was so weird, such a weird place. Um, but I think that that sort of for me defines like a good talk. You're inspired and you want to change your life in some kind of way, even if it is a technical talk. So that's what I hope if somebody's watching a live stream or whatever random thing that I'm doing, like hopefully they leave it and they're like inspired to go do something. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that we can add attending events to improve productivity, because when you are facing a roadblock, like you've spent all week fixing a bug, and you decide that on Saturday you want to go for a conference or a meetup around um, wherever you live, and you are in the midst of other developers who are probably facing the same thing you are facing, or who had faced the same thing that you are facing, their stories or their advice can also help you come out of a burnout. So I think that that too can help improve productivity and overcome
Yes, I
burnout.
think so too. Yeah, going to conferences or even meetups. I haven't been to many. I don't think I've actually been to a meetup before, but yeah, I don't think I've been to a meetup. I've only been to conferences, but I do plan on going to a meetup. I already RSVP'd. It's next month. I think it's July 10th or July. Oh, it's July 7th, maybe. It's in West Palm Beach and it's like a React meetup. They just started it this month. I couldn't go this month, but it's once a month, and then they have like these 5 minute what are those called? Just talks that are really fast. What are those called? Like there's a,
Mm,
there's a word for them. What did
networking,
you say? No, they do like
networking.
rapid talks. What maybe Richard knows what I'm talking about. Like you sit there and then maybe there's
Oh,
like five speakers and they all just take 5 minutes per talk. So you just like listen to it and then there's networking afterwards. There's a word for those talks. I just forgot what it is. We'll see if Richard tells us.
well, I used to, well, I used to attend meetups when I was still in school, because I led the Google Developer Student Community and the Microsoft Student Community. So I used to host those meetups, and every time I'm in a meetup and I get to hear other people's experience, how they are learning, how they feel
Mhm.
tired, I sort of feel inspired. Like, I mean, it's coding is, or being in tech is not really a sprint. It's more like a marathon. I have to enjoy the process. I have to enjoy every fall, every roadblock. It's I would definitely overcome that. And a meetup was actually a huge part of where I am
Oh,
today, because 2021, sorry, late 2020, I dropped my laptop. Like, I gave up completely, that I was
oh my
never going
gosh.
to touch it again, because it got so frustrating and tiring. Then my friend invited me to a meetup, and I was reluctant at first, because I thought I could just spend my day sleeping, because the following 2 days later was a class, and my Monday classes starts by 7. So I was reluctant. I attended. I got to hear other people's experience, how they also left their laptop and came back to it, how they are currently facing one issue or the other, and how they've been able to build amazing things. And it just inspired me. So, like, it brought me out of that
I love
slump.
that. Yeah, I do think that when you go to those meetups, then yeah, and it is lightning talks. You're right, Richard. You can get so inspired, and it can literally change your trajectory in life. So I think that is really cool. That's how I felt when I went to that conference, like the first tech conference that I ever went to. Because I'd been studying for a while, and I was like, okay, am I ever gonna get a job in tech? Is this ever gonna happen? Uh, yeah, I remember when I went, it just meeting so many people in the tech community and just getting inspired by them, I think definitely like changed the entire trajectory of my life. And I was also so anxious before I went. I was like talking to strangers in a random place and sitting with them, like weird.
Exactly.
Um, but yeah, it just completely like opened me up to, oh, I could actually have coffee chats, and like I could do live streaming maybe, and get out there. Like I definitely would never have done a live stream if I did not go to that conference. That would be insane. I
Oh,
hated any type of video stuff prior to that. And yeah, I was like,
me
ew,
too.
in my in university, like we had to turn on our cameras for class and like sometimes do presentations and stuff. And I was like, oh my God. And I would be anxious for like the whole week because I had to do like a 5-minute presentation. So
You
yeah,
get that?
definitely life changing. I am excited to go to my first meetup though. So we'll see how it goes. Bob is ready to work at Walmart. He went full stack AI software engineer with Vite. I love Vite. I think that's the way you say it. It's not Vite, right? It's Vite. Um,
Oh, I I say
I
vibes.
think it's pronounced Vite. I think it just disappeared for a second. Anyway, he's manually implementing next SJ. I think you mean JS. Total shut in, no social interaction, Hermit Bob. Good luck, Hermit Bob. You can do it. Um, I think it's a good idea, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Plus, I think that your audio has
Oh, did
switched,
it?
because it's a bit muffled
Ah,
now.
yeah, it did.
Yeah.
You How
But
about now?
yes, yes, yeah, yeah, it's better now.
Okay.
But then
When it
we are actually
disconnected?
about to end the stream. So it's connected, but your voice, your audio
Oh,
is
is it fine
lower
now?
now. I don't know if it's just.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it
yes, yes,
switched to
yes,
my
yes, yes.
AirPods. I don't know why. It just randomly switched, but then I reconnected it to this thing. So should be good. I have no idea whether this thing does anything. I think I need one of those foam
Yeah, it
things
does.
because whenever I record my audio for a voiceover or something, you can hear so many S sounds. I don't have like a lisp, but my S sounds are very strong, maybe. Maybe I say a lot of words with S in it, but it's just I hear it and I'm like, oh, you know, I'm like, how do I get rid of that? Maybe I need a foam thing on it or something, muffle the S's.
No, no, but that work that helps. Like, I have
One.
this, and yeah, and I noticed that if I talk like this, the audio is weird, like it sounds itchy to the ear. But if I
That is
talk
better.
using this, the
It
filter,
is much
yes,
better that way.
it's
All right, let's do a
yeah, it
test here.
is.
Devon, it was so good seeing you. Definitely, please, Devon,
Devon,
let's do the
hi.
digital detox. Join the jump on board the ship, jump on the train.
Yes.
Look, it's Sudhansu. Welcome. We are having a good weekend, so we're gonna test this. Ready? I'm holding it really close to my face. I'm gonna take
All
this
right.
off. So everybody, this is me talking with the filter. Snakes, snakes, snakes. Okay. Hello, this is me talking without the filter. Snakes, snakes, snakes. Can you hear any difference?
I
What's the
Yes,
difference? Is it
yes,
better
yes, I
without
did.
or
I
with?
prefer it with the filter. No, I prefer it with the
Okay, what's the
filter.
difference in the sound?
Um, I guess it was less echoey.
Yeah, I felt that with yours as well. I think without the filter, it sounded like slightly echoey. Okay, well, anyway, I put the filter back on. Hopefully, it's not making weird sounds.
Yeah. Well, I think that we have
Yes.
talked a bit. Well, we have really expanded on everything that has to do with productivity
Yes,
and burnout, and I genuinely feel that, and I wish that this would help someone
hopefully.
out there. I mean, if you're experiencing a burnout or lack of motivation, it's fine.
Totally normal.
I mean, you probably just need time off, uh, unplug, touch grass, sleep. Yes, sleep, because sleep is very,
It
very
is.
underrated. Sleep and try to, look away from your device or the thing that is making you tired.
Yeah, totally agree. Sleep is underrated, especially in the hustle culture that is today. And the tech, online tech people, I guess they're like, let's hustle and code all night.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Please sleep.
But it's quite funny that for me I get a lot of
Me
energy
too.
to code at night than during the
Yeah, me
day.
too. I think it's
But
also apparently your chronotype or chronotype. Some people are just night people. So you can adjust your schedule to, if you are able to sleep in a little bit, then you can be, utilize that productive energy at night and do it. It's not a big deal. But the point is getting enough sleep and making sure that that sleep is quality sleep. So whether you need like a blackout curtain or
yes,
something and like some earplugs, make sure you get, undisturbed, nice sleep.
6 to 8 hours of
6 is
sleep.
not enough. You need like at least 8 hours. Seven, I would say 7 is the
Yes.
minimum, but you need like 8 hours of sleep. Uh,
Wow, I have been running on four to
that's
five hours of
bad.
sleep all
Please
week.
sleep.
I know it's
I
bad.
just slept for 9 hours just now. So yes. I woke up at like 9:30 this morning. So um yeah, I would highly recommend. It takes some time to recover, by the way. If you have like serious sleep, I
Yeah.
think it's called sleep debt or something. If you have that and you've been on low amounts of sleep for a long time, it could take a couple weeks of regular 8, 9 hours to get back to normal. So
Yeah, it
it's not
does.
going to be a one night fix type of thing. But anyway, hopefully that helps. Maybe we should write an article about this. Yeah, we could collab on an
Yes,
article. I
we
think it'd be fun.
definitely.
We should. Not right
Yeah, we
now though.
should.
We need a
All
rest.
right. So yes, like I feel I need
Yes,
to
please
sleep.
sleep. Please sleep. Woohoo to sleep. I agree.
So I think this is the first time I'm having a live stream with a guest that has gone beyond an hour 10 minutes, because this is 1 hour 34
I feel like
minutes,
we
which
could
is very
be
cool.
like the Joe Rogan of tech podcasts where we're doing like 3 hour podcasts. Imagine someday we're like in the same
Yes.
country and we get in like a recording studio and we just sit there for like 3 hours being like productivity. I don't even know, but I could see it.
And the funniest thing is that no, 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 no. That would be amazing because you are chaotic. Like you have a
Yes.
chaotic energy. I have more like a calm energy. So I notice that
Uh,
whenever we have a chat, we tend to go beyond the time that we have stipulated. Even our
mhm.
first coffee
That's true. I
chats.
think our first coffee chat was really long. Was it like 2 hours or something? I don't even know. I think I had like a 3 hour coffee chat. I think my coffee chat with Richard was like
Yes.
three
So I
hours the
think
first time I
our
talked to him. It's really long. Yeah.
Richard is also a fun person. Like the 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 coffee chat that we had, I think it went above the time
Yes.
that we're supposed to have
I don't think
the
Richard
chat.
ever goes below the time unless he just doesn't like the person. Sorry if you're in the chat and you've gone below the time with Richard.
Exactly.
I don't think there's anyone.
He probably doesn't like you, and that's
It's
fine.
fine. Not Richard doesn't like everyone. Only 99% of people. Anyway, but yeah, we have been going on for a while, so I guess we'll leave people with that productivity message of the day. Touch grass, get sleep,
Yeah,
stop doing boring things that you don't want to do. Um, yeah,
100%. So I was going to ask your final words, and you just gave
perfect.
that to us.
Read You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Please read that. And if you are going to be rewatching this on YouTube, I would look for the Amazon link to the book and add it to the video
Okay, sounds
description.
good.
Right. So until next